Welcome back guys to a brand new track guide and the Hotlap setup video. This time we're going to be tackling the Canadian Grand Prix at Montreal. Heading down into turn 1 then, looking out for this patch of tarmac here on the right hand side. Anywhere between this bit of tarmac on the right and the patch of grass, just as that patch of grass ends, you want to be braking down into third gear. Take a lot of curb on the inside to help with the rotation. Shift down to second for the right hander and then back up to third and get on the power nice and early as you can. Tricky uphill with the back end if you're not running traction control. Into the next right hander then, just before the 50 meter board, you want to be going down into fourth gear. Take as much curb on the right as you can again. Short shift to fifth for the best exit and really plant the throttle, commit all the way out to the barriers there. Nice smooth run through the next left right then, and braking just before the black box on the top right there, so just after the 100 meter board, but definitely just before you get to that black box. Down into third gear for the next left hander, you want to take quite a lot of curb on the inside here. Short shift to fourth on the exit to get a better run, keep it nice and tight, but run it all the way out to the wall on the exit, and then pick up the DRS if you can. Fastest line is just take it slightly to the right here, and then through this next chicane you've really got to commit to the speed. It is an area of the track I struggle with myself, but I know I just don't seem to be able to get the line right. As soon as I get the line right, my time's flying back up, but at the moment I don't seem to get it right. But anyway, braking just under the bridge, down into fourth gear, and you want to take as much of this inside curb as you can. Turn in for me here is the hardest bit, but as much of the inside curb as you can to open up the left hander. You want to be flat out over this left hander. Again, it is tricky with the traction, run it all the way out and use a bit of that apex as well. Up through the gears then, and into this next right hander. You're only braking somewhere just before the 100 meter board or on the 100 meter board. If you can get away with it just after the 100 meter board, and down into second gear for this right hander. You can take it in third, but I prefer second because it tends to help the back end get around a little bit more. Just a slight slide around the hairpin to get it straighter quicker, and then on the power nice and early. It's important to get a good exit out there because it's the longest straight on the circuit. Keep it to the right hand side, pick up the DRS where you can, and into the final part of the circuit where you can gain or lose any lap time you've just made up or lost over the lap. So braking then just before the 50 meter board, just as these two offices, I want to say, on the left hand side start. That's where you want to be braking. Down into fourth gear, take a lot of the curb on the right hand side. You can get away with a slight cut, but it is very, very easy to invalidate here. So as long as you got your right wheel just on this orange sausage curb sort of thing, you should be fine. Commit to the power up to fifth gear and run out as close to the wall as you can. You'll see in my Hotlap I slightly lose the back end here. Just committing that little bit too much. Lost about a tenth, but really commit to it. And that is a Hotlap of Canada. So we'll get on to my Hotlap now. If you see another video where I don't hit the wall of champions, then you know I improved on my lap time. We'll get into the Hotlap now, get it all put together so you can watch it over a lap, and then we'll get into the setup. Thanks for watching, guys.
Amazing moment right now. Later.
Okay, so let's get into the setup for the Canadian Grand Prix then. So area looking at 32-30 wings, fairly balanced setup. There is a lot of corners, but there's also a very, very long straight as well. So medium wings really, I call it. Transmission 55-50, you don't want to go max rotation with the on throttle. You want to be able to handle a little bit more. You probably could run 50, but I prefer just to keep it at 55. I haven't noticed any problems with it. Camber, minus 2.8 on the top, minus 1 on the rear, the front camber and the rear camber, sorry. Toe out, 0.04 and 0.14. Probably looking race situation closer to this sort of setup. Well, that's what I found when I did a test run anyway a couple of weeks back. Suspension 28.8. I've dabbled around with this a little bit. That's the best setting. Leave as is. Anti-roll bar 6.1 and ride height 33.36. Brake pressure then 100%, pretty much as always. Front brake bias I prefer at 54% for this circuit. You can probably get away with running 53, 52, but 54 once again is just where I seem to be happiest with it. Minimum tyre pressures here. In a race situation, put the fronts up a tiny bit, and if you struggle with the rear temperatures a little bit as well, then put them up by one or two clicks. See how you go with it. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If you have enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you want to, and leave a comment down below. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you next week for another track guide, hot lap and setup video.